I'm looking at the Brazil squad that was recently called up, and the forward group, lethal. The midfield group, as hard-nosed and technically skilled as well as could possibly be, and the defense really solid.
And this is a team that, like you mentioned with Brazil, they call it their B team, and you still think they're going deep into the tournament.
E aí, meu convocado, tudo bem com você? Continuando o nosso trabalho de pesquisar por aí o que estão falando sobre a nossa seleção brasileira. Hoje vamos ver a análise de norte-americanos da NBC lá dos States of America. E eles falaram, diferentemente de argentinos, que elogiaram nosso ataque, mas falaram que a nossa defesa é fraca. Na opinião dos norte-americanos, a situação é diferente. Nossa defesa é sim sólida. Bora assistir? Depois a gente volta para comentar junto, hein? Bora lá.
But we wanted to discuss who are the clear favourites. I mean, we're going to focus on the top 10 here, but get your questions and your answers coming in the comments section, lads, and everyone else out there. Who do we think is the favourites to win the World Cup? I'm intrigued to see people in the comments here. Are there any clear favourites? Are there any teams that have really put themselves above the competition and you think they're definitely going to go all the way? Because I would have said a few months ago, there probably isn't. And there's a solid group of 7-8 teams who are above the rest, but I don't know. You could flip a coin and any of those teams could win it. But Andy, I'm going to come to you. There seems to be a few teams in the last two windows really who've just elevated their level, and their players, especially at club level, have taken it to a whole new level. And go ahead and tell me who you think are the favourites to win the World Cup in Qatar.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a boring answer because they're the betting favorites right now, and I think everybody is expecting a lot from them. But I'm looking at the Brazil squad that was recently called up, and the forward group, lethal. The midfield group, as hard-nosed and technically skilled as well as could possibly be, and the defense really solid at all the clubs that you want to have, especially defenders playing at their club. It just feels like everything, and the goalkeeper situation being as rich as it is for Brazil as well, it just feels like everything has lined up perfectly. We talked about, a golden generation with the U.S. men's national team. It feels like this is kind of a combination of almost two, pretty good generations from Brazil, because there's a lot of very young players in the squad, and there's a lot of players on kind of the back end of their career. But I think when you put those two things together, you've got experience, you've got youthful hunger that's going to push on those veterans. It just feels like the balance, everything for Brazil, aside from the fact that it's Brazil and things can blow up pretty quickly, especially at international tournaments. It feels like everything's pointing towards Brazil for me at the moment.
Yeah, I totally agree. A great comment there from Eddie. I mean, the thing, it's deep and talented and the solid defense, right, Nick? That's the difference, I think, for this Brazilian side this time around. And one of the other favorites in my mind, Lionel Messi's Argentina, they figured things out defensively at the back as well. And they actually give him a platform to go and win a game, right? They'll win games 1-0. We saw him win the Copa America. Doing it that way. They have so many talented attackers and have done over the years, but it's always been defending has been a problem. But they figured it out, right, Nick? So Brazil and Argentina, the two South American powerhouses, they've elevated themselves over the last few months and seem to be the clear favorites. You agree with that?
I do, especially because France has struggled in the last few months. When the World Cup starts, Brazil will have played 30 matches in the 2 years prior, going back to November 2019. They will have lost twice, both 1-0 losses to Argentina. So, I mean, that is special. 30 games with 4 draws, 2 losses, and the losses only being to a very good Argentina team. However, I know France, they just dodged relegation, and that happens to the best of us, right, Joe, out of the Nations League. But
it's still too soon.
And this is a team that, like you mentioned with Brazil, they call it their B team, and you still think they're going deep into the tournament.
Gente, a gente percebeu ali que o pessoal, diferente de outros comentaristas, falou que o Brasil tem sim uma defesa sólida, e eu acredito nisso também. O que você acha? O Brasil vem demonstrando, antes de começar a fazer vários gols com essa molecada que chegou aí, o Rafinha, o Antony, o próprio Vinícius Júnior, O que caracterizava essa seleção brasileira sempre foi a defesa, muito sólida, né? Tomava poucos gols em toda a eliminatória, tomou só 5 gols, não é pouca coisa, né, gente? É um trabalho excelente feito defensivamente. E agora, com esses atacantes, sim, o Brasil é, para mim, um dos favoritos a ganhar a Copa do Mundo do Catar. Mas eu queria saber para vocês, pode acontecer, de repente, de pegar um ataque da França, com o Mbappé correndo igual um louco, e o Brasil acabar se perdendo na defesa atual da seleção brasileira? Quem você incluiria nesse sistema defensivo você acha que está faltando? O sistema defensivo do Brasil, que hoje, pelo que o Tite vem mostrando e a seleção vem demonstrando, começa bem lá na frente, né? Com o Richarlison sendo esse primeiro homem de marcação ali, fazendo aquela pressão na saída de bola, que tem funcionado muito bem contra os adversários que o Brasil tem enfrentado. A gente não sabe se de repente vai funcionar como a Espanha, que vai ficar no tic-tic, tic-tac, tic-tic. Pode ser que funcione também, a gente roube a bola ali na frente, né? Deixe seu comentário. Muito obrigado por assistir mais esse vídeo aqui no canal Seleção do Mundo. E amanhã a gente está aí de volta para trazer mais notícias da seleção brasileira pelo mundo, da nossa seleção do mundo. Um abraço!